All right, here's the deal. As America gets back to work, you want and need every possible advantage out there to succeed in the new economy. Smart companies run on NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud-based business system. So receive your free guide right now at netsuite.com/wolf. That is netsuite.com/wolf.
Lions take your cameras away. And in the old days where...
what do you mean?
Because we use remote control. So in order to get close, we will set the cameras up on the ground and I'll operate them from 200 or 300 yards away so I can get that immersive close-up look. And of course, if a lion then sees a camera, it's a bit like a kitten or a cat in a ball of string. It will take... nowadays, you can sort it because you can have GPS on your camera, so you can find out where the lion is going to have left it. But in the old days, the camera might be gone for good. The one thing that will eat your camera, because cameras aren't that attractive, but you'll never guess the animal that will actually eat your camera. You're allowed 3 guesses. I'll give you a clue. Do you want a clue? 3 guesses.
All right, ready? Gorilla?
No, they won't give a damn.
Okay.
Want a clue?
Yeah.
They're not an animal that people hold in huge affection. They're portrayed in animated film as being the bad guys.
Jackals? No, I mean a hyena.
Yeah.
If you are on the right and you say what you mean and you mean what you say, then all of a sudden you are dividing the country and you're controversial. But you're on the left and you say it, you're a hero, you're inspirational, you're woke. That is what I take most issue with. Does this president say everything right? No, nobody does. But I do believe that he is genuine. I do believe he comes from a place of good intentions. I do believe he's somebody that just stands up for what he believes in, and that's why so many love him. But it's so easy to look at, well, he's dividing the country. But the Marxist BLM movement isn't dividing the country. Are you serious? And again, I get it all the time too. I'm controversial. I am a shock jock. But someone on the left can say defund the police and somehow that gets them a round of applause? Come on.
How could I smoke pot without getting paranoid?
That's an excellent question, and I get that a lot from people that, are more or less our age, and did it in high school, did it in college, and then now it's like, wait a minute, what the fuck's going on? Like, I do 1 or 2 hits and I'm totally wasted, or I don't feel right, or I feel paranoid.
Yeah.
And it all depends. The typical traditional terminology is strains. You hear about sativa, indica, hybrid. Really, they're chemovars because plants don't make a strain. You're a microbiologist.
Yes.
Plants don't. There's no strains in plants. Bacteria, viruses, yes. So these are chemovars. And so if you genetically create a chemovar that has a good balance or good blend, more indica dominant than, say, a sativa dominant, because sativa will stimulate, but it'll cause certain people to feel a sense of paranoia. They get a sense of, oh shit, what's going on? Someone's coming after me, and it causes anxiety and does cause panic attacks.
What's the secret?
Oh man, there are so many secrets. I would say, and if you asked anybody else that's in the business with me or not to know, or Sarah, you work 7 days a week, right? You work 7 days a week. You get up before everybody else. You go to bed after everybody else. And when everyone else is in the Hamptons or at the beach, you're in the city working, and you're working on their business. The power of follow-up is really, I think, probably the most boring answer I can give you. That's the real secret. We have a system called the 3 Fs, which is follow up, follow through, and follow back. And I think if anybody can do that and stay on top of current business, they will. You cannot fail as a real estate agent or as a salesperson in general. I mean, Nathan is a classic example. I've never seen anyone follow up the way he does, because business will then just come to you by default, because you will then catch that person in that moment when they realize they're thinking about real estate, and they're not just going to go online, Google someone, or pick up the newspaper or talk to a friend, because you're going to be right there waiting and finding that fine line. And then I honestly, the secret sauce is people hate being sold, but they love shopping with friends. And if you make everybody your friend in some way, shape, or form, then they're going to want to go shopping with you to find their new home or do their new developments. You're not going to feel like you're ever trying to sell them a fucking car.
My belief is that, I've been a rich man, I've been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time and never look back. Not that I don't have problems when I'm rich, but money's an amazing problem solver. And look at it this way. I have been rich and been really, really happy.
Right.
I've been rich and I've been really, really miserable.
Yeah, that's right.
I've been poor and been really, really miserable. But I've never once in my fucking life been poor and happy.
Yeah, I did this joke where, sometimes money will buy you a different kind of sad. Sad in a one-bedroom apartment when you got to take the bus is not the same as sad on a yacht in Ibiza. You know what I'm saying? At least you're dancing to the music. And so there's no question. There's no question that money buys you the freedom. Money will buy you travel differently, you save time, a better view. And I think people who have been poor, Charlie Chaplin in his autobiography talks about this. He goes, there's nothing good about poverty. It's humiliating and it's dirty. And so a lot of what this country is predicated on is the idea that you have the potential to get out of your miserable circumstances. How many people do you know that went from nothing to everything? It's a great American story.
But now Logan Paul's video is the #1 trending video in the world, opening up a box of Pokemon cards.
Why?
Because the demand is here. When people make it cool, Logic, he bought another rapper. He went and spent 6 figures on the same box. You have Steve Aoki buying all these cards. You have different characters buying cards and being excited and happy about it. Even LeBron James, when his card sold for the record, it was for a couple $1 million a few months ago. He commented that day, LOL, I have 2 of those also. So even the players themselves have their own multi-million-dollar cards. That gets the industry going, that gets excitement, and that excitement leads to a lot more people getting involved. As more people come into the space, more stuff happens because there's a very limited supply of certain cards. The Michael Jordan 1986 Fleer card, there's not thousands and thousands of that card. That's the most iconic card for basketball. That's the one we all love. The Honus Wagner baseball card, that's millions of dollars. They're not making any more of those, right? So they don't make any more Jordans, they don't make any more Kobes. They don't make any more.
How much is a Jordan card worth?
So it ranges. This is where the PSA grade matters a lot. A PSA 5 or 6 is like $3 or $4 grand. A PSA 10 is over $100,000. The exact same card. That'll look the same. If I just held it to you like this, you wouldn't really see that much. PSA 6, it's going to be an okay card. PSA 7, that's still only 5-6 grand. PSA 9, that's 25,000. But then you go to PSA 10, it's over $100,000, and good luck trying to buy it because nobody wants to sell it.
We got Chase Hudson here as well, another TikTok expert. We're doing a whole experiment here. We're launching my TikTok with the masters, the young people of the world. These guys are killers. Let's watch it happen. 0 follows today. We'll see where it goes.
So we're using an audio from the Wolf of Wall Street movie in 2013. This is the audio.
What the fuck is wrong with you? I don't love you anymore, Jordan.
You seem like a savage.
So how would I go like
this?
I don't love you anymore.
You have to get in it too, though. So Josh, you want to stand up?
What's the idea now?
We should have one person be Jordan, and then the rest of us.
That's a good idea.
I can't even. Yeah, and then the rest of us be the girls.
All right. Actually, no, Jordan. You should be Jordan.
Yeah, I'll be Jordan. Okay, I'll be
all right,
myself.
so you stand in the middle.
All right, let me get in the middle.
We gotta.
All right.
You're not as hot as my ex-wife was. I'll give you that, guys. All right.
Millions of fans that disagree.
All right. Let's go.
So it's gonna go. The fuck is wrong?
The fuck is wrong with you? I don't love you anymore, Jordan.
The fuck is wrong with you?
Dramatic. What the fuck is wrong with you? I don't love you anymore, Jordan.
You don't love me? You don't love me anymore, huh? Well, isn't that just fucking convenient for you? Now that I'm under federal indictment with an electronic bracelet around my ankle.
That one's good. That one's good.
All right, listen, you don't need to tell me that running a business is hard work. But if you're still using QuickBooks and spreadsheets, chances are that you're making it far more difficult than it needs to be. That's why it is time to upgrade now to NetSuite by Oracle. Stop paying for multiple systems. Don't give you the information you need when you need it. And ditch all those spreadsheets and old, outdated software programs that you've outgrown and just upgrade now. NetSuite is the world's #1 cloud business system. Bottom line, it gives you visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. It's everything you need all in one place. Best of all, NetSuite is for everyone. Whether your business is doing $1 million or $100 million a year, you're going to save a ton of money and a ton of time as well with NetSuite. In fact, over 21,000 companies are using NetSuite right now, so you'll be in great company right alongside them. So let NetSuite show you how they'll benefit your business with a free product tour at netsuite.com/wolf. That's netsuite.com/wolf. Schedule your free product tour right now. It's netsuite.com/wolf. That's netsuite.com/wolf. All right, so I want to tell you guys about one of my favorite parts of every morning, and that's when I have my Athletic Greens. Listen, Athletic Greens is my absolute favorite nutritional supplement. It gives me an extra boost for the day. If you know anything about me, then you know that personal performance is a very high priority for me. One scoop of Athletic Greens, I get that feeling, that tingling sensation when your brain and your body are really firing off together perfectly. And that's when I know I'm ready to go out and close at the highest level possible as a salesperson, as an entrepreneur, as a businessman. Make sense? So whether you're training for a marathon, you're trying to lose a few pounds, or you want to elevate your energy and your focus, Athletic Greens is for you. And if your results are anything like mine, I can virtually guarantee you'll have that extra edge in performance that sets you apart. And here's the deal. Right now, Athletic Greens is offering a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs for the Wolf Den listeners. You'll basically never have to buy vitamin D again. Simply visit athleticgreens.com/bonus to get started with this limited time offer. Again, simply visit athleticgreens.com/bonus and get your free year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs.
And you talk about this in your sales training. Before you drop the price, you need to make them aware of all the features and benefits of your product or service.
Right.
Because the customers only retain maybe 10% of what you told
the
them.
energy and benefits out. Right.
Yeah, we call it a features and benefits dump is what we do at the last, before we drop the bomb. And we actually do a little guessing game because that's our report card to see how good of a job we did. So before we deliver price, we always want to feel out where the prospect thinks this will cost. So we play a little guessing game. Now, knowing what you now know, I tell you what, Jordan, I'd love for you to be my guest at dinner this evening. As a matter of fact, if you're able to guess within $500, the total investment of the proposal I have here to get your dream bath, your basement done, we'll take you out to any fine dining establishment in the greater Los Angeles area, as long as it's a McDonald's or Wendy's. Right. so we basically play a little guessing game. We get both husband and wife to guess what they think it'll cost.
When I was about 13 or 14, he had read a little pamphlet on bonding with your son. Okay, so the first thing he did is he told me about the birds and the bees, which I hadn't, he had never given me, the talk lasted about 30 seconds. Birds and the bees, okay. The second thing is he sat me down in the living room, and he went in and got his revolver, he had 8-inch Smith & Wesson, loaded. He pulled the hammer back, and he put it to my head. I can still close my eyes. I can still see the bullets in the chamber. He said, we're going to have a talk about drugs now, Danny. Okay, there's no cure for motherfucking drugs except a motherfucking bullet in your motherfucking head, and I'll put it there. My mother's standing off screen over here, screaming and yelling, Manny, Manny, you might pull the trigger by accident. He says, no, when I pull the trigger to blow his fucking brains out, it'll be on purpose. I never did drugs.
So I think Vine was smart in the sense, so if I'm thinking of myself as a business, right, I'm Vine. I'm like, all right, there's a need for short form video content of an organic platform with creators. So I'm going to build that easily and slowly and just let it organically grow because there's a need for that, so people are going to use it. It's a great product. Mm-hmm. So in developing that, they were successful too because they sold Vine to Twitter. So they were successful in building this platform and selling their products, you know, and then selling their brand.
Right.
So they did a great job with that. But then,
Once Twitter took over.
Yeah, they had it there and they didn't do much with it, you know. But who knows, maybe they just wanted it for their own IP and then they didn't really care about the platform.
It's one that acquires a company. It's like you can't, it's like unless you're constantly watching it. And this, I mean, things move so fast now, right? Unless you're constantly aware of what's going on, you're basically going to get run over by someone else who is.
Yeah, and you need somebody that, whether you're running it or you just don't have the time to, I'm sure, like, you know, you have other things that you're doing and you just can't, there's no way you could physically be at everything and running everything day to day.
Right.
So it's just
delegating to the right people.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the hardest thing to find are the right people, I think, you know, but when you find them, it's just like, you know, worth the search.
You talk about it in your book and you obviously talk about it in the movie that you and your first employee, the first guy that was selling with you, you would sell circles around everybody else. And then you come back in and listen to your sales force and they go, oh, no, it doesn't work. And we go back to selling the penny stock, whatever. And you're going, I don't get it. And you couldn't get it. You would never get it. You are natural at what you do.
Right.
Your brain is wired in such a way that you know whatever it is that you want, you're going to make it happen.
Right.
I'm wired the same way. No matter how many times I've gotten knocked down, it's like, okay, fall down 9, stand up 10. Here we go. I'm not done.
Right.
And the challenge for 99.9% of the population is they're not wired that way. They think that feedback is trying to redirect them some other way, and so they just let go of wantingness. And so they get a car that gets them from point A to point B. They don't need the Rolls Royce or the Lamborghini or whatever it is they really wanted. They get a house that they can afford the mortgage, not the house they really want. You see, people that are successful, highly successful business people, salespeople, entrepreneurs, we don't ask, can I afford that thing? We determine what we want based on what we want, not on what we think we can afford.
Right.
We figure out how to afford the thing that we want.
But then I also know that the one thing that the regulator Ofcom here said, you cannot talk about one thing, the relation between 5G and coronavirus. You can talk about anything else you want. I also know that in times of extreme lockdown, they are building towers overnight. They are. They're going up in Liverpool. They're going up in Belfast. They're going up in Birmingham. Some people are burning them. I don't condone that. But there's just strange things happening here. And so I'm trying to focus on the fact that I can't tell the truth. And I think, I'm paraphrasing George Orwell, but he said in times of universal deceit, telling the truth is an act of resistance. And that's what we're doing. That's the thing that bothers me more. So I'm looking at the 5G thing as almost like a symptom that something else bad is going on. And I'm trying to get to the crux of that. And in order to do that, I'm pushing the envelope a little bit further. And that's what we're planning on doing on April 26th. And seeing if we can get this thing off the ground.
2 of the most valuable lessons in my life he gave me. The only director, it wasn't Billy Wilder, it was, who was it? It was the guy who directed West Side Story. I mean, the guy was like 100 years old. I was trying to ask all the questions. It was like, I didn't have access to anybody. And I said, I met this guy, Brian Grazer, who's like the biggest producer in Hollywood. And he called me when he heard I was graduating. He wants me to come out to LA. I think he's going to offer me a job. I mean, I was delusional. I mean, he's not going to ask me to direct something, but I think he's going to offer me a job. And he says, Brett, let me tell you something. This is my professor, the guy that, he says, under no circumstances are you to take a job from him. I said, what? What is wrong with you? You're so negative. I say, any kid in this entire school, I don't care who their parents are, would die to work for Brian Grazer. He was making, what was the fire movie that he did with Ron Howard? Backdraft. He was doing Backdraft at the time. I mean, he was making like 5 movies at the time. It was
Russell,
like yeah, I mean, he was huge. Him and Ron Howard. And I'm like, how can you tell me not to take that job? He goes, I'm telling you, I command you, do not take that job from him. I'm like, why? Why are you saying that? He goes, you will be fired. I said, why? He goes, you're not meant to be someone's assistant. I said, what? You're a director. So what? What do you want me to do? Where do you want me to work? How do you want me to be a director? Make a film, Brett. What are you thinking? Oh, make a film. Okay. Don't work for anybody. I don't care who it is. You're going to get fired. He knew me. He knew I had ADD. He knew I wasn't focused except on telling stories. So I go see Brian. I fly out to LA. I remember in his office in Beverly Hills, the coat from Backdraft was on the door with the hat. Like it was on the back door. I come and he goes, Brett, man, I like you so much. I do. I think you're so smart. And I know you went to film school. And I'm thinking, okay, he's going to give me an opportunity to direct an episode of television or something. He goes, I'm going to teach you the business. I'm going to train you. And you're going to become the biggest producer in Hollywood. I said, oh, well, thank you. And I want to interrupt him, but I let him talk. And he goes, you're going to be my assistant. And I just kind of like looked at him, trying to keep my smile. He says, I'm going to pay you $21,000 a year. And that was a lot of money for me, $21,000 a year. I said, wow. I said, like, I'm really appreciative. I'm really grateful. But I'm a director. He's like, okay, I'm going to pay you $22,000 a year. I said, no, you don't understand. I'm like Opie. I'm like Ron Howard. I'm like your partner. I'm a film director. Like, I'm going to pay you $23,000 a year. I think I got him up to like $29,000 because I kept telling him, no, you don't understand. I'm not an assistant. I'm a director. And also, what? My professor told me to not take the job. He said, do not take that job under any. So I went in there knowing I wasn't going to take it, but I wanted to hear what he had to say. And he said, okay. And it wasn't until recently when we did Tower Heist together that I noticed that he has a button under his door, under his table, that calls in the assistant. And the assistant comes and goes, Bryan, your next meeting. And so it was like 7 minutes in. It was like the meeting was over. She was like, Bryan, I said, okay, Brett, well, great seeing you. That was it. That was my chance. And it was gone, like right there. And as I go to the door, I think there's another button that just slams the door. And I stop it. And I know, okay, if you pitch somebody, you got to do it in one line. I said, my friend has an idea to do a black version of the Nutty Professor. He's like, oh, come on in. And I take a step and I watch what a producer did in front of my eyes. He said, who made that movie? I said, Jerry Lewis. He said, get me Jerry Lewis on the phone. As easy as that. Jerry, Brian Grazer. Oh, hey, Brian. I'd love to get the rights. You own the rights? Yeah, I own the rights to all my movies. All right, can we send over a proposal? Sure. Thanks, Brett. I got zero. And I was like, no, I didn't know what to ask for. I didn't know, but it was like I gave him the idea, right? It wasn't that he was trying to stiff me. It was just like, okay, I said it was my friend's idea anyway. By the time they're making Nutty Professor 2, he's asking me to direct the movie.
You can make sub $10 million a year, but if you want to have real revenue, it takes, they say it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to build a business, either from scratch or what we're doing, restoration of old brands. It's who can build an army. I tell entrepreneurs, you got to be a general. You got to think like a general. There's a good book I just read on Dwight Eisenhower, one of the great, he led D-Day and arguably won World War II as the supreme commander of the United Forces, and he was back in a tent planning. In fact, one of the people said one of the criticisms against Eisenhower was that he wasn't a battlefield general. But he had Patton, and he had Montgomery, and he had these guys who were able to go out in the field, so he didn't do it. And I think that it's easy to get too much in the weeds and forget that. I think, and people disagree, that most money's made at the strategic level, back in the tent, way behind. That's where the war's won, and that's where the money's made in business.
All right, this next section here is about business and making lots of money. Here's the deal. I'm having a small group of people over to my home in Los Angeles, and the question all of them are asking is, what's next in life? These are people who had massive success already, and they're looking to see what's that one thing, that one distinction that will take them to the next level of money and success. So maybe getting close right now to that 7 figures a year. Maybe you're trying to get to 8 figures a year. The point is that this is an opportunity for you right now to come to my house in Beverly Hills, Los Angeles here, right? And join with 9 other people, all of them ultra high achievers, to attend my mastermind event, which is led by me. Now, what's going to happen here is very special, and it's going to be nothing short of life-changing. You and this group of top business leaders are going to spend the weekend with me in intense, regimented brainstorming sessions, where you're also going to get to have some time, about an hour or more, with one-on-one consulting with me personally, along with a special breakout session where I'm going to be sharing the most cutting-edge secrets of sales, marketing strategy, things I'm using myself right now to scale my own businesses in a massive way. But the real magic, by the way, of this mastermind is you're also going to sit in the hot seat in front of all these other top performers. In other words, every person in the mastermind is going to have that opportunity for an hour or more to sit in the hot seat, where all the collective energy, brain power, and experience will be laser guided on you, focused on you and your company, and helping you take things to the next level. Things that you thought were impossible before this day will start to become very possible for you as soon as you leave. When this is over, you're going to go home feeling energized, with new ideas, new plans, and most importantly, a network of very powerful new contacts who are going to help you make them happen fast. In other words, I'm opening up my entire Rolodex to you, as all the people who are attending to do the same. I'm telling you, the results that you're going to get here from this mastermind will be nothing short of staggering. Now, a little bit about how this actually works. First, you're going to fly into Los Angeles, and my driver, Abdul, will pick you up at the airport. We'll have your favorite drinks waiting for you at my house. We'll also have a world-class chef there to cater some of the best meals you've ever had. This is going to be fun, and it's going to be about learning and business and camaraderie, all the best things in life wrapped up into one. I guarantee you will walk out of this mastermind event with a new, improved, much bolder, and more powerful vision for your future, a new plan, and massively powerful new context to take your life and your business to the next level. So what you need to do right now is go to jordanbelfort.com/mastermind and apply. That's jordanbelfort.com/mastermind and apply right now. Do not miss this opportunity. It's once in a lifetime and it's life-changing. All right, real quick, listen, if you're a CEO, you're a sales manager, or you're involved in hiring for your company, I want you to check out my new organization, Straight Line Hiring. What we do is we deliver expertly trained salespeople to companies like yours. World-class salespeople trained by me and delivered to you on demand. Go to my website, jordanbelfort.com. Check out Straight Line Hiring, the only way to grow your company with certainty.